screen up now on thing. So I'll just pick the frick. It's like, you want this dirty coffee water. I'm like, why? No. Pick
coffee.
Checking that we're actually live. Yep, no, it looks like we're good. Alright, so let's get to it then. Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright. So here we go. I'll take down the cover and then I say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to WAYPN. I'm Cal.
I'm Warhammer Dad.
How you doing, Warhammer Dad?
I'm alive, or at least I've been told.
Okay. Alright.
You know what you're in for.
Alright, well, I guess we've got a short one today, and the reason that I say that is I can sort of see beyond the Facebook symbol instead of like the 50 or so tabs that we had the other week. Oh my good lord, that was intense. The week where Sunny wasn't there. So, Cassidy Rose says, starting Force Firer, ready for the board. Let's take a look. Yeah, the skins come up pretty alright, but I feel like the black could use some shading. Let's see if we can go in for a closer look. So yeah, like the skins come up well. I just dot the eyes with some off-white.
Oh, for the one on the left, far left?
Well, all of them, because it looks like it's just been a sort of contrast on them.
I will have to admit the green, either being gems or the lenses, whatever it is, geez, that's turned out exceptionally well.
It has. I'm pretty surprised at it.
Now I'm unfamiliar. What game would this be from?
This is Necromunda. So the Spira are sort of like the elite gang. They come from the top of the hive, and basically they come down to prove themselves as youths.
Did I just hear a wild penguin appear?
Hey, penguin, how you doing?
You did. I'm alright, and you guys?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So we're just commenting on Cassidy Rose's Spira. Would you like to say anything on these ones?
So see, my YouTube is still busy loading at the moment.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. What I usually do is I'll do this. I'll put this in general, which is just a copy of the what's the word? The things. That's, and like I just scroll down to wherever we're at to get there. And like, so I think that they came up pretty good, but I just think they need just a tad bit more, not a lot more. And I really do think that the bases need a bit more. Like, at the moment, it's just too plain. Like, I think that they're fine, but I think they need something a bit
You can
extra.
see some of the samples you did for the Gello Dark kill teams that you've done. That's probably maybe a bit over the top, but some things in that similar style I think would look good, because the base does kind of blend a little bit in with the model, but still I do like the purple armor on these models. They do look pretty cool.
I'll have to take a look. I'm trying to remember what year was it that I did the
history lesson. Which kill team?
Okay, so I've got one where it's the terrain.
Or Ashes of Faith. That would have been a bit earlier. Or newer.
Okay, so let's take a look. So just a general picture of the Ashes of Faith.
Yeah, I think all the bases that you did for the Ashes of Faith, if not, you definitely did it for the Alpha Legion.
I've got them up now. Yeah, they're all the same. So yeah, so what I did was just with these ones, these are the older ones, so you can see on the bigger bases I did something slightly different. With the older ones, I just used pigment powder to get the rust effect. And with the newer ones, I did dirty down rust, and then I used some salt on them to really get them to bloom. But either way, it's a very simple and effective method to get them.
I think something in that style doesn't have to be exact, but something in that style on those bases, I think would look exceptionally good.
All right.
I like it. It does look good.
These ones or the previous?
There's the ones that you talked about the rust on the base. Yeah, but my YouTube is synced now, so I can actually.
Oh, okay, cool. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, they're a bit older, but I think we will move on from Cassidy Rose to Cassidy Rose. I do believe. Yes, it is. So we've got, and the big boys are done too. So these are other Spyro guys, but when I take a look at these ones, like I feel like they're even more plain than the last ones. For example, like the metal cherubim, I feel like you gotta do something with him. Like either do it in like the way of a skin or something like that. You follow what I'm saying?
I don't know. See, I could go both ways, because the first thing I thought of is, remember the old cartoons, probably from the 90s, and I think it was called Gargoyles.
Oh yes, I do.
And
remember this.
As soon as I saw that one, I went, oh, I bet you he's based it off that, because that looks almost play for play from that cartoon. Could be completely wrong, but that's the first thing I thought of. And I went, man.
Evil Will Riker cartoon.
Yes.
No.
I actually quite like it. I wouldn't change it.
Sorry, go Penguin.
My question would be: is he trying to replicate metal or stonework? Because I'm reading it as being metal.
Yes, that's what I'm reading it as well.
So this looks to me as being a robotic creature that is mimicking a human form.
Yeah, and
if that is
you go.
Yeah. And if that is the case, then I would add a bit more of the green that is there on the other figure next to it, just to maybe make it look a bit more interesting and tied into the rest of the unit, because it looks more like a statue than the actual member of the unit that's participating in its current form. If that makes sense?
Yep. Makes total sense. So for me, the main reason why I don't think it looks good as metal is because of all of these sort of fleshy bits here. Like I don't think I just don't think it works as a metal piece, because like the skin that connects to the belly and like the wings themselves, the belly, the thighs, like they're chubby little thighs, they're chubby little arms. It doesn't feel steel in any way in its form, if you understand what I'm saying. But the
it looks organic.
Yes. And like that's why I look at it and I'm just like, no, like I'd color it different. Like he might be going off the box art, but when I look at it, I'm just like, nah, not for me. And like, once again, I think I'd say the exact same things. Like the bases need something, and the other thing I think is just rimming the bases will really help. Alright, so next up we have Derek Wong. Trying to do Moonlight Whip. It's pretty difficult, but a fun experience. So let's take a look. Alright lads, what do we think?
I'll let you go first, Penguin, on this one.
Okay, so I like the purple. It's a very nice looking purple. It's not oversaturated, sort of like a nice balance.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that the skin has got a bit too much grain, so it's going for more like a concrete look to it. So I don't know if he maybe wants to work a bit more on his skin. So I presume this is still a work in progress.
It is. He said a whip. Yeah.
So I would say the cape and the hood, they look great. The skin, obviously, to go through the process of getting the skin tone. Then this robe area here, that can also do a bit more definition. If he goes there, maybe a complementary color to the purple would be good. So maybe like a orangey color robe, or like a bit more like a hemp color, if that makes sense. Would look good there. And yeah, that's my 5 cents on this piece. But I do like the sculpt, and it looks good from what has been blocked in so far.
And your thoughts, Warhammer Dad?
So, and I guess I'll ask a few questions because I'm not too sure. So with the style of it, it looks, I guess, like it's quite old. It's not, how would you say, like with brush strokes, his stuff is very smooth, where this one, it seems to be almost heavily weathered. Is that the style that you would assume he's going for?
So I believe what he's going for is sketching out the light beforehand. So
okay. So almost like a Zenithal, but more advanced?
So sketching is very similar to Zenithal, except you'll be a lot more bold with your strokes. So with the Zenithal, it's usually decently smooth, right? But you can see how there's these big strokes, all of that sort of thing there. Yeah, just stuff like that.
Okay. No, that's right, because I was like, oh, it's a very unusual style he's going for. But yeah, if that's what he's doing, cool. Now I'm kind of catching up.
Yep.
So far, yep, I think the shading's coming along well. Colors are coming in. Everything's, definitely he's got a good foundation. If that's like how you've described it, if that's what he's doing, yep, I think he's on the right track. The only thing I would say, which is probably still to be done, is some of the leather work on the, I don't know, call it the undershirt. Yeah.
Yep.
But once again, this is work in progress. He may not have gotten to that. But yeah, overall, yeah.
So for me, when I take a look at this, the thing that sticks out to me is how much blue he's put into the skin. I know that this is just the start of it, right? But when I take a look, right, everything else is quite warm, the leather, all of this sort of thing. And when you see it hit by the moonlight, it's gotten some extra, some extra light, but not a whole lot of extra color, right? And I think that looks correct. But here on the skin itself, I feel like the blue is too powerful, but I think we'll see how it evolves. Like, that's the big thing for me. All right, let us move on. Next up, we have Larry Hassenflug. And I do believe we get an update on this one, but I'll read out. Making progress on the Crimson Marine. Added some grey to the black, steel and gold for the metal plates, light grey for the main colour on the parchment, silver and red metal to the rosary beads. I'll probably wait a day or two before I try doing anything more to the turquoise areas. Also use the same grey for the parchment highlights upon the leaves. Then Zealot Yellow Speed Paint on it. I followed by highlights of Golden Fluid Acrylics, Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue, which I forgot to include in the photo. Also gave Atlas the face beaten with the ugly stick severely. Alright, so let's take a look. So I know that this is updated later on, But I'll throw to you, Warhammer Dad, while we're taking a look. Your thoughts on this one?
Well, first things first, I love the amount of detail in the post where it's almost a play-by-play that, yeah, if you wanted to steal, like, oh, I like how he's done the sword, you've got all the information there. You can kind of steal that and copy it for your own project. So first off, you know, great amount of detail instead of, yeah, I did something. But yeah, you can borrow it. Here's all the paints I've got. He's even showing the pictures of the paint, so you know exactly what you got. The model itself, I have some Blood Angels, which I'm assuming is a similar chapter to what he's going with.
Apparently not Blood Angel, but I only know this because it was on one of his other posts where he just said, not a Blood Angel. But that's all we know. We know that it's not Blood Angel.
Somewhat Blood Angel. But I do like the aqua or turquoise, sorry. Like the Aquila in the middle. Geez, that stands out. Like that's the first thing my eye was drawn to was that on his chest plate. I really like that. That's pretty damn cool. And then it's tied in with both the lenses in the eye on his gauntlets, and then of course the power sword as well kind of ties it all in together. But the scheme looks fantastic. I'm quite impressed with it.
And you were saying Penguin?
I like the scheme very much. In fact, I actually copied it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So if you come to my piece, if you come to my piece, you're gonna see very similarities between what Larry's done here on the Marine and what I did on my catapult.
Oh yeah.
But that blue, it pops so nicely against the red and the black on the trim. Well, and that gold being such a warm color, just complements the red.
Yeah. So, while you're in the captain's chair, what do you think of the Atlas beaten with the ugly stick?
The Atlas, it looks good. It looks battle worn. Like you said, it's been beaten with the Atlas stick, but then depending on what time period you are playing the game in, some of these mechs can be factory pristine versus to it's being held together by spit and good wishes. But it looks good. It looks good. I think this is maybe just a bit of a wash.
No duct tape in the future to hold things together.
Yeah, there probably is. But just like in 40k, a lot of technology has been lost because of when you commit war crimes by the gigaton, things tend to be lost.
Well, you know,
your budget gets cut after that.
You know, I wonder. I wonder if they do have duct tape, and I wonder how much the STL for duct tape would be worth. Because, wow. If they don't have duct tape, and you can give them duct tape, I'm pretty sure that you'll live as a wealthy man.
At least 3 planets and a moon.
Yeah,
at least. Since the Atlas is the topic of discussion, on the previous stream I mentioned that the Atlas is 50 stories tall. I heard incorrectly. It's 50 feet tall.
Yeah, because when you said 50 stories, I was like,
yeah, it's about 16 meters. Yeah, about 16 meters. Yeah, so sometimes a penguin doesn't listen so correctly. He's just intrigued about what the person is saying.
Well, next up we've got the Larry himself once again. First major project of the year, Shock Jump Dragster. Cleaned it and beginning assembly. Got 4 weeks to finish. And this is one of the things that I think is viciously underestimated. How long it takes to cook one of these things, because when it comes to assembly, the issue is they do not care they do not care about how they produce the models. Like, they're trying to squeeze as much stuff onto that plastic sprue as they possibly can, rather than making it the best experience for you. Because I remember cleaning some of the ashes of Faith models. There's one model in particular, so I'm gonna...
Oh, here we go. We've got to get it in at least one stream.
I've got to show this one model, right? Because, my good lord, it was...
Can you stop picking on me? I paid you for it. Right?
So...
Jesus.
So see this guy? Is it this guy? Yes, this guy right here. The one with all of the hooks and the blades and the nonsense, right? The way that they make you assemble this guy right here, you have to... he comes in 3 separate pieces, and you've got to put them together at the same time and twist them together. And I'm just like, what sadist made that decision? What sadist was like, you know what? We're going to make sure that these guys are like the worst possible, experience you can have in your whole life. And I don't understand. I don't understand how or why people would do such a thing. But yeah, it's... So, I do think that it's good showing off this part of it. Oh, we have comments. They don't have duct tape. It was lost in the dark age of technology. Now they use Space Jam.
I'm responding to him now. So... because in
BattleTech,
you get what's referred to as lost tech from the Starlink era, which is sort of like the pinnacle of human civilization, basically like the say equivalent to the golden age of 40k. And duct tape is lost tech. They forgot how to make it.
Oh no.
Yeah, actually, don't worry. We know how to make PPCs and lasers and missile systems, but duct tape, what that?
All right, well, let's move on to Connor Patterson, who's 1/9 of the way there. He's not looking as clean as he once was. But I do think that he might want to really thin his paints down for doing these reds, and you might want to do multiple coats of them. The reason that I'm saying this is the white was so clean before, right? And I know it might be, trying to show some battle wear and that sort of thing. But if you're going for the Stormtrooper look, which it appeared to be what he wants to do, you've got to have a very pristine look. The person I would look to copy for that would be Brushstrokes, and just watch his guides on how to do things, and I think that will get you your Stormtrooper look. But I'll throw to the rest of you guys. So I do believe Warhammer Dad went first last time, so I'll throw to you, Penguin.
I think it looks very good. I agree with you that the red glaze would be better than layering in this case, because you just want to slowly build up that color. The white, I'm not sure if this is a primer white or if it's white paint, because it looks like it's got a bit of texture to it.
Now it does, yeah.
My screen. Yeah. So I would say maybe put a gloss glaze over it so you can get that shiny, pristine like the Stormtroopers. That might add to that illusion of having this smooth, almost plastic light.
Do you think
material?
Gloss, high gloss, or more satin?
I've never worked with a satin varnish before, so I can't comment on that. I know gloss or matte, so, but if I think satin might be good. It's just sort of like a good in between.
Yeah,
between the mattes and a
satin's
gloss.
like the sort of in between of.
Oh, is that another name for semi-gloss?
Yeah, that's what the Liquitex calls semi-gloss, and so
Because I've used on the Thousand Suns, I used semi-gloss aerosol on it, and that turned out pretty good. Because I went full gloss or high gloss aerosol, and it was mirror ball and didn't work out well. And then the matte didn't really do much, and there was semi-gloss aerosol, and that kind of was the happy medium.
Or even maybe use like a gloss medium, like Vallejo has a gloss medium, which you can then add to the acrylic paints, and just a glaze over that, just to give it that sheen effect of this is like pristine armor. It has no dings, no scratches, no dirt. It's been polished for parade type look.
Yep.
When you think Star Wars and from the movies, it did have that bit of a shine to it. So if that's what he's going for, maybe a semi-gloss or a satin. I'm not familiar with is it like a paint that you said from the Vallejo, or is that aerosol, or what?
No, he said it's a matte. It's a medium that you can add to your paint.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, because the Vallejo paints standard are matte. So if you want a gloss effect, then you add the medium to it.
Okay.
Well, I think we will move on from this one, and we will move on to the next. So, Connor Patterson got some more detail done yesterday. So let's take a look. It seems like we've still got that pooling over there. I'm not sure what extra has been done here as of yet. Looks like some of the greys are being added to the black. The issue is that when it comes... Oh, this grey is not looking too bad, but I think over here it looks quite scratchy. I think like when you're doing that scratchy technique, back and forth along there to give a certain shimmer line, that looks good, but I think along here it doesn't look as good. I'll take a look. We got the sword, shield. It looks like a lot of the purple in the Tzeentchian symbols are done up. Maybe some purple with the tail. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll throw to Warhammer Dad first. What are your thoughts?
I think it's definitely coming along. It's still clearly work in progress, so there's a few things that will no doubt be tidied up as he goes. The one picture where it's kind of the photo of the kind of the head and the upper torso, you can definitely see some pooling.
Yeah.
On I guess the right side of the image, and in another photo when it's looking top down, it's kind of pooling where I guess call it the breast cup or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it looks a bit off. The jewels, that's coming along perfect. I think that's fantastic. Around the arms, there has been, I guess, it's kind of purple on one side, but then a pale grey underneath. So I don't know if he's doing something on the underside. But no, it's coming along. I've seen a few of these models done, and there's a lot of work. This will not be done in a day.
No, there's quite a bit to these ones. So I'll throw to Penguin. Your thoughts?
I like the purple. It's sort of almost like a pastel color, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yep.
And it looks good. This is just my 5 cents. But if I had to do a similar skin tone, I would maybe just add like a drop of pink into the first layer to give it more of like a fleshy look, like there's actually blood flow underneath the creature, and then layer the pink and the purple, and then going a bit lighter and lighter as you build up the xenophil, and then that would just give the skin a bit more of a dynamic look, like it's a living creature with blood vessels and muscles that are moving underneath. Where the skin as it is, it looks good, but I feel that would take it to the next level. But that's just my sense.
Yep, alright, well, let us move on to the next one. So, the next one is a Calvin-only special, and it's a dungeon door. So, your thoughts, Penguin?
Yes, still waiting for it to load a bit.
Okay, alright.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. The wood grain looks very good. So it actually also reminds similar to my recipe that I do for wood as well. Dark undercoat, and then you build up your textures with lighter colors. The bolts that are keeping the other piece of wood up, I don't know if that's supposed to be metal or wood.
I'm pretty sure it's meant to be metal. Some sort of metal, like a brass sort of thing, like as far as I can tell. But yeah.
So I would go full on brass like that, and then maybe put some filigree over that. Or if you're going for a metal look, something I know there's a color that Army Painter makes called rough iron, which is, it's not copper red, but it's sort of a good balance between gunmetal and copper, and I think that type of color would look very nice here because it gives it that very rustic look. It's not corroded, but you can see this metal is old. It's been taken care of, but it's been there for ages. But that looks good. I like the green. The green pops nicely. Set against the different brown tones. Good. Pass on to Wham Dad.
I'd be curious to know, like a scale comparison, how big these doors are, because especially the one with the red face on the door, there's quite a lot of detail with, like, the teeth have been highlighted, the eyes have been done on both of them. I guess the metalwork and whatever's hanging off the sides of the doors, there's quite a lot of detail in it. So I would be interested to see, for scale, how big these are. Because I'm assuming it would be a door for a standard, 32 mil base model?
Probably around that, or 28 mil. Yeah. I'm not sure which.
28. Yeah. But no, timber work, fantastic. The brass work, perfect. Some of the brass work does kind of blend a little bit in with the timber, but that's just being nitpicky and a bit pathetic, to be honest. Overall, they do look damn good.
Yeah, alright. Well, let's move on to our next one. Our next one is Joseph. Finished my leather armor, armored boxer, and built and started painting my white lion armored boxer. I've also finished my proof of concept all grass tile. I'm happy enough have 3 more waiting on long PVA dry times. Alright, let's take a look. So this is the boxer, I believe, the standard boxer. And that's the white lion boxer. This is the tall grass. I'm not as sure on the tall grass, because in the tile that's used on it, it's got tall grass all around and a middle area which is left barren. I understand the concept of it, but if I was going to do that, I'd try and maybe do something a bit more with that. And I might try and plug the gaps here. But yeah, I'll throw to you, Warhammer Dad. What are your thoughts?
I kind of agree.
Oh, yep. Sorry, you're gonna talk about the grass first. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say with the grass, I kind of agreed. Like within reason, the first thing I thought was, oh, someone's made a hedge. That's an interesting thing because this is all still Kingdom Death, if I recall.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, well, it's good to see that someone's taking care of lawns and you know, what do you? Oh, I forget the name of it. What's that job called? Where you do like landscaping. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's good to see that people are taking up landscaping during, you know, impending death.
You know, it's always like those zombie apocalypse shows, and you take a look and you're just like, who the F is mowing the goddamn lawns? Like, why are you mowing lawns at this time? Because, like, you got to think that is the worst. Like, one, lawns are usually a vanity piece to begin with. And two, like, can you think of a worse contraption to summon zombies to your place?
Look, man, as punishment when I was younger, Dad had the old push blade one where you had to push it and it spins the blades. There was no mower. And I can tell you, that sucked.
I believe you.
It sucked. And I was a horrible child when I was young.
So you had to mow a lot.
Yes. It was almost lucky I had my motorbike accident and crippled my right leg, so I could never do that job again. But getting back to what we're here to actually discuss, the grass, I would say, and I've done this back when I was doing the Lord of the Rings stuff, probably scatter it a bit more, maybe at different heights. Almost kind of, like randomize it a bit more.
So I'll explain. The terrain tile itself, so the tile in the game, is just a top-down picture tile, and along it there's grass that goes all around it, and then in the middle it's empty, as if like you can hide amongst the tall grass, right?
Right. Okay. Yep.
So for me, that's why I look at these dirty big gaps here and I'm just like, you know, like, let's say that I'm a nightmare lion hungry for Henry ham. I would be able to look through those gaps there, right? Like, sure, maybe the model-esque people of Kingdom Death can hide behind these reed-like pieces of long grass. But I wouldn't exactly be counting my counting myself as safe inside there if I was there. I'd be like, no, my Henry ham is about to be shaven.
Please don't. We will never refer to you as that ever again.
But yeah, should we move on from the Henry ham shaving scene back to the boxer?
Yes, so the boxer itself, the one question I did have with the skin tone, and I'm guessing it must be maybe shadowing where the leg is and the, I guess, the armor. There's like, where the thigh is, there's quite like a dark
I'd agree.
I'm assuming that's probably shading, which he's trying to do, which, fine. I was trying to figure out what that was at first, but that might just be shading.
See, I think here, on this particular picture, I think it comes through a bit better where there's that sort of highlight, but when you're on the front, it doesn't look the best. Sorry, you were saying Penguin.
I found the mask quite interesting. It sort of reminds me of Borderlands.
Exactly,
Borderlands
yes.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's no definition between what is armor and what is clothing. It's like it seems to be all the same color.
Yeah.
So I would presume that the armor pieces which you would add after would be a different. Even if his shirt was leather, it would be a different colored leather or a different grain of leather. So I think maybe if he can lighten that a bit, or that will make it stand out more. So, because if I had to, sorry, continue, Carl.
Yeah, there was only one thing that I was going to ask, and it was very much going to take us off course. But It is my understanding that Borderlands is the sexy geriatric show, because I believe we talked about this once before, and the movie had not a single actress under the age of 60.
Correct.
And
Correct.
they're teenagers in the game, is that right?
They're in their 20s, I believe.
Okay.
Late teens, early 20s.
Now,
Roland was the oldest member at like 30, I believe.
Oh, I see.
I remember
So is this
correctly.
like a reverse DiCaprio situation, or what's going on here? But I was just doing that to go off course for a minute because I think we spent a bit on this one. So we'll move on for a minute after that. And next up we have Alex Coe. I decided on a bit of a pivot with my Skaven. They all have blue clothes. It was what I had the most fun painting, and I think they look the best. Sorry. Also, the metal armor is red now, and I think it provides a good contrast to the blue. And I'll probably be toning it down because toning down the skins to a more neutral skin, just because. And Joseph brought up the Kador, and we'll take a look. We'll throw to you, Penguin, because I sort of cut you off there to move on to the next piece.
Nah, no problem. That's a very bright red, but he says he is going to turn it down. I do like it. It does complement the fur, and the blue on the cloth around the leg area, that also looks good. There's even got is that a bandage with a bit of blood on it on the leg?
So we see it better here, which is the exposed skin. But see, when I see the exposed skin here, and it's quite pink, it matches a little too much to the red, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but let me know what you think.
Yeah, I agreed. Like,
yes,
when I first... sorry, you can go first, Penguin.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's very close in the hue to what the armor should be, or the skin should be. So maybe I'm not sure. Maybe if a white can just darken that a bit and also bring out the detail of the ruins.
So I'm just trying to think, like, what I might do is, instead of, so we've already got some of the chunks of warpstone in there, right? And we see that quite a bright green. I was thinking, what do you guys think of having that in each of these symbols?
Like a green?
Yeah, green. Like a bright
I think
green.
so.
So have to have the ruins in that bright green. That could actually look quite interesting, because it gives almost like a toxic glow effect.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, that could help differentiate the very, very bright red of the armor, because I think that the armor looks really good. Like, when I take a look at particularly this image right here, like, the way the armor is shaded, I really like it. So, like, you see that two-tone right there, you see the shading, you see all of that. I look at that and I'm just like, all right, yeah, no, I'm in love with that armor, right? And then I see the ruined skin down here with the bright green, right? And I don't connect it as much with the armor, because maybe it's just the green, but it's just a thought. But one of the other things I was thinking is maybe a difference in texture. So have you guys ever mixed a medium with blood for the blood god? No?
that
Yes?
I can recall.
Vega says blue and red ratty looks good. Good Alex boy. So it gives this almost like raw. It feels like intestines, right? And I was thinking maybe paint that onto the skin to give this sort of wet, bloody appearance, so that it contrasts.
Almost like
go.
Like almost like the skin's been agitated recently.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, because I mean, like, well, with all that scarring and all of that nonsense, you couldn't think that it'd feel that good.
Well,
okay, Warhammer Dad, we don't need to know what you're into. We're going to move right along from this project. But yeah, I want to say that the blue and the red, I think, look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they do. And I also think it plays in because they're the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So they bounce off each other.
And it's a quite desaturated blue, like a quite deep dark blue, and this is quite a vibrant red, which helps with that as well. So next up we have Lance Davenport. Oh, sorry, you were going to say?
Yeah, being Skaven and the lack of smithing abilities or maintenance in general, I would actually suggest that armor should be a lot more chipped than what, because it looks quite pristine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is my 5 cents.
Well, let us move on to Lance Davenport. Old and new side by side. The right were done previously, and the left single shots are the new work. Well, I tell you what, if these are the new ones and those are the old ones, the color matching is absolutely spot on. Like, he's done a black tabard here, but like, as far as color matching goes, couldn't complain about that one. I think I'll throw. I do believe you're up, Warhammer Dad. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. No, has he mentioned exactly how far apart he's done, or is it just 1 week apart? Because the color matching is pretty much spot on. Like you couldn't really argue. There might be a shade or two darker in some parts, but like nothing really that noticeable. Can I ask, do we know what game this is from? Because first I thought Lizardmen, but that can't be correct.
I do not know. I could not tell you.
If Lance, you can let us know, it'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, so Fishman vibes.
Yeah. But colors look good. Patterns, the skin tone, all of it looks fantastic. I think he's done quite well. The basing, you could maybe add a bit more if they're fish people. I don't know, coral or something to kind of show that. Once again, not knowing what the game is, I don't know if this is something that they fight underwater, they fight on land. Yeah, maybe. Looks like the base may have been done from scratch. It looks like he's used like texture paste. Which is good to see. But yeah, I think, isn't it something you say, Cal, like kind of 3 things make a base pop?
Yeah, there's not quite 3 there.
So that would probably be the only thing I would say is, maybe have a look at adding something to the base. Once again, is it something of a deal breaker? No. The models look fantastic. That would be the only quote unquote criticism I could give. Yeah.
Fair enough. And Penguin, your thoughts?
I like the color scheme. My question would be, is the skin tone, did he mix the colors himself, or is it a bottle color? Because it looks very, if it's a color that he mixed himself to get that consistency so far apart, that I'll take my hats off to him, because that's very difficult to get that consistency across multiple armies if you are mixing your own colors. But even with the bottle colors from batch to batch, there's a slight variation in color, but they look good. And I don't know if this was done intentionally or it, but that I don't record skirt that the fishmen are wearing, that style with the red and the bronze in front, that comes from the Minoans. So that's a ancient civilization off the coast of Greece. That's what their dress used to be like. So I don't know if if this was sculpted to be like that, or if he intentionally painted like that. But I thought that's quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll move on. The only thing I will say is Warhammer Dad is 100% spot on with the basing. It needs something more. Some stone, some grass, whatever you choose, but it needs more. But I will say that the color matching is absolutely spot on. Well, now it's time for you two to talk about me in hushed whispers. It's Talk Tuesday. Hashtag Talk Tuesday. And oh boy, this one's some... You know what? I don't know every single time why it comes to me and reading my own posts, I get dyslexic. I know that they're written decently because everybody else seems to have no problem. But when I read my own posts, I turn into... that part was censored. And oh boy, is this one something to talk about? So did you guys watch this one, and what were your thoughts on it?
I have. I enjoyed it. I completely agree with it. And I grew up in the 80s on a farm, so like technology was not so prevalent back then. But the dangers for even back then were real. So don't talk to strangers. Don't do this. Everything in life has a price. Are you prepared to pay that price in order to take part in this activity? But coming back to the third topic, the internet is definitely the warp. It's becoming more and more of a cesspool these days. If you look how toxic people can be out there on forums and places like Reddit and even Twitter and all other social media sites that I just avoid because the fact that it's become such a cesspool for bigotry and people just what's the word I'm looking for? My side is right, your side is wrong. Type attitude, regardless what the topic is.
Yes, regardless of what the topic is, you're not wrong on that. You don't have to have any sort of special topic for people to get upset on that. Like, trust me, we've got our controversial opinions video coming out this week, and I expect some blowback. But yeah, RJ Warren says the internet is a toxic cesspool, but there are some good spots here and there. Great video. So Warhammer Dad, did you view?
I did watch the video. It was something.
It certainly
It's one of those things with my line of work, it's like, I wish to watch something that will relax, take my mind off of the troubles of what. No, this was not that video. I kind of came out of that going, yep. Well, not sure what to do on that.
I can't say we didn't warn people with the thing at the front, you know.
No. You did, even in our private chat, you did kind of warn, like, hey, like, just be aware this isn't going to be a lighthearted thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, kind of came out like, yeah. It's a rare thing where I go, I kind of miss work. Work is a horrible place and it makes me depressed. I kind of wanted to go back after watching that video. Because it's kind of holding up that mirror of this is it. It is that how would you say, just that 1% more. Like, I'm at this level, but let me just have a sneak peek at what would be the next level. Like, what, down this rabbit hole, what's the next, millimeter, et cetera, and then you get into some pretty horrible things.
Well, so the thing is, when we made this video, we never expected to make this video. So I think you guys can see it start turning at a certain point, and we're just sort of like, oh, we'll just go for it, where we're just like, the blood doesn't fuel corn, and we say this, that, and the other, and we go into it a bit. And the thing was, we never expected to create what we did. And it's very frustrating, because I think that this is actually one of our best pieces. I think that there's 3 pieces of work that we've done thus far, which I think are our best, which all happen to be the lore videos more than the hobby ones. But I guess that's where we get a lot more experimental. And that would be this one. Badab. Why Badab will always be peak Warhammer fiction. And the Elegiac Hero, if you guys have watched those ones. And, I was very disappointed that it got a lot less views. But I think because of the engagement... So Iskander says it was like a horror episode. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna deny that. That would just be dishonest. The thing is, on the back end, I think that YouTube recognizes that it's a potentially very good episode because of the engagement it got. Because I think it sent out something like 50,000 impressions, and for those of you who are in the know, that's a very decent amount of impressions, but it's had a very bad click-through rate. But I think the people who have clicked through, really have enjoyed it. But we've gotten a lot of odd comments on it, really odd. There was. I'll just end on this one bit, because this is the one which is the safe for the podcast, which was some guys talking about how we've got to learn lessons from Gen X, and it's something about Gen X being the best generation, and I was just sort of like, what? What did that have to do anything with anything? Yeah. And
I think what he's implying.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, sorry. I think what he's implying is that the generations that did not have the internet, they were a lot tougher, and is that the right word I'm using? Sort of they were not as dependent on technology, and they were not this instant gratification
maybe
generation like we have. Yeah,
maybe, but there's a lot of comments on there which I am just not engaging with at all. If you guys go and take a look in the video and just scroll through the comments, you'll just go, I can see why Henry/Cal is not engaging with that at all. That's a smart decision.
I did scroll through, and it was like, the first thing I thought was like to grab the computer mouse, unplug it, and just put it in the drawer and just lock it. We don't turn the computer over again, okay? It's tainted. Because there's some people there that kudos to them.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. Well, I think my comment was quite wholesome.
Oh no! Lots of the members had great comments, and our very first non-member comment was very wholesome. They said like they can feel that this video will be divisive, but like they really felt the episode, they really felt like it connected, and so on and so forth. Like, I guess when you get lots of comments, it's just such a range, because I think usually we'll get 1 or 2 comments for every 400 views, I'd say. But for this, it was for every 100 views or so. So it obviously provoked something in it, people. But let's not hold Larry up anymore. Some nights things just don't go your way. Assembly instructions said to paint certain parts before assembly. Okay, no problems. So I primed some parts black and then used the yellow primer by Vallejo to try and figure out for the first time. Not sure I see the appeal. Other than the certain reds for the armor, etc. The colored primers, but okay. Had to clean out clogs, disassemble the airbrush twice. That sounds like fun. Lots of splattering. Used my normal primer settings, pressure thinning, etc. But it seemed that there was a learning curve. Then used the gold airbrush paint by Vallejo. That's done pretty well for me before, but again had to disassemble and clean for the 3rd time. Sprayed okay, but not great. As expected, you can still see the spots under it, but oh well. I'm not sure if it's better to reprime and start over, or if I should airbrush pink or red brown, maybe even white over it, and then go gold over that. Update, I reprimed. So, oh wow. Yeah.
I don't like flicking through the pictures, because I have this model for the Speed Freaks box set back in the day, and I like that modelly effect. So like that image that you've got there and the one further along, I kind of go, it looks like it hasn't been kept well, which, surprise, being orcs, they tend not to look after their toys very well.
Yeah.
And I kind of go, yeah, that modelly spotted effect, actually, I thought looks quite good. Reprime it, fine. If there's a certain style you're going for, but I liked how it looked. Yeah, like it's got like smoke dust on it, or exhaust dust sitting on it. It looked pretty cool. But clearly he has a vision that he wants to stick with, and
so
he's done it that way.
I'll just respond to that for a moment. See, I think that is a good thing if you were going that way, but I feel like Larry was just like, this is not what I expected. This is not what I was trying for. Like, because when you say that, this particular angle right here, this area right there, say this panel was painted a different color, the skull was painted a different color, this panel here was painted a different color, I think those splatters could do well. But by the same token, I take a look at this and I could, like, if I was doing that and like this was for a client, I'd probably have a mental breakdown.
Noted.
I don't like the way you say that, but please continue. I think I'll throw over to Penguin now after you say that, especially the way you say it.
Okay, so Vallejo has changed the formula for their primer, so I think that might be a contributing factor. And with that, I found that you actually have to thin it a lot more than you did with the original formula to order get that smooth, consistent spray. I normally take it 2 drops distilled water, 2 drops flow improver, and then 6 drops of primer, and then it's almost to I won't say a bit thicker than a wash, and then I'll get a very good, consistent, smooth coat. If he's getting the spitting effect, then I would say his paint was too thick, and it's not his fault if he has used the Vallejo the previous generation of Vallejo primer. I just think he needs to adjust his mix a bit and maybe try that again. But looking at the model, there's patches there. I think being an orc vehicle.
Sorry, you just stopped for a
But if
second. Could you repeat, please?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so being an orc vehicle, those little extra yellow dots, it adds to the model. It gives it sort of a bit of texture, a bit of character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I had to say, for argument's sake, if I was doing an aircraft or a tank, something that I was gonna try and have to look pristine, effect or factory fresh, then I would probably also go, start from scratch again. But if it's something like, especially the orc vehicles, like Wormadad said, they're not very well maintained. They just slap together from bits and pieces that can be found. It adds a bit of character to it, in my opinion. And also, I'm not sure how far Larry's going to take us, but if he's going to weather it and add mud and dust to it, it's more likely going to cover it up in any case.
Well, he did say reprimed, but yeah, I think I'm pretty with Larry with it, but I can see how you two are just like, you could definitely work with this, especially with orcs, and I think it could look good. But for me, I just lose my nut. All right, let's see if I can read today. All right, it's Whip Wednesday. #Whip Wednesday. It's Grimdark Star Wars. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones. You were part of my childhood, which he was. He's a decent fella. Like, I remember reading one particular story about how he said that he was trying to remain healthy for the fans. He's like, I could just live as I want to, because I think James, like myself, enjoys certain products which are perhaps not the best for you. The rich foods and such. But apparently he tried really hard to stay healthy just for the fans. So yeah. And if you guys want to share your thoughts on that fella, and then maybe talk about these bits of terrain, I'll throw it to you. Who would like to go first?
Wormadad can
okay.
first crack.
Well, for James, I guess, yeah, like everyone know him from Lion King, Star Wars. What was it? Was it Welcome to America? All of those movies. Like, yeah, there's quite a lot where you kind of can't fathom how much he's been in. Even, being voicing or in movies, like even Conan. Like, I forgot, yeah, he was in Conan back in the day. Like, there's a lot he's been in.
Coming to America, apparently.
Coming to America, yeah. Whichever one it was.
I'll put that in this one.
In relation to the terrain, I guess a bit of a inside joke. Oh, I see you've gone back to the dystopian cream again.
Yeah, beige dystopian future, yeah.
Yeah. I thought you had enough of that.
Well,
so I'm quite intrigued that you decided to go back to that.
So, on that bit, see, the Star Wars terrain is quite flat, right?
Oh.
What?
I'm just waiting for the yellow dark insult coming.
No. See, the issue with the Gallo Dark is that the Gallo Dark has lots of wires and lots of little other parts, right? But for this, there's a lot of flat textures without a lot of interest, and so what a lot of people will do is they'll sort of give racing stripes to the buildings, which I always find, like, it's not bad. It's just that I find it mildly humorous that people are putting racing stripes on buildings, because they're kind of.
But see, going back a step, because we had spoken about this, I can't remember if it was on stream or in private, but like this has the correct level of detail where you can see there is a door. There is a door there. There is a button next to the door. There is a vent. That's it. I don't need, because for I guess the people who are watching, and for Penguin, the yellow dark terrain set that you did at the start of the year, that was for me. And the amount of detail that are in those panels is just ridiculous.
Oh,
and
yes.
That's not the focus. The focus is the miniatures. The focus is, the combat patrol or the objectives. No one's going to sit there and go, this was a horrible game to play because that skull wasn't painted. People are going to say it's pathetic because they either lost or the models aren't great or the rules are complicated. That's the selling point, where the Yellow Dark series, which I do love, and I've got all of it, and et cetera, the terrain was overly complicated for something that is meant to be the background.
Yes.
Where this, with the Star Wars stuff, I go like, man, I wish GW, and not accusing anyone of anything, but if happen chance, the once off that GW does go and borrow ideas from someone else, I hope they borrow this from the company who made this terrain, because yes, this is ideal, because I'm assuming, call it panel for panel, this took a lot less time than my Yellow Dark stuff.
Oh, like hardly any time at all. So it did take a while to do the prep for this. Because this is, so first off, spray it black, right? Standard, just get a prime on it, right? Second is a steel. Then after the steel, we do the dirty down rust. After the dirty down rust, we sponge on some liquid mask, and then we after that we do our first coat, which is that more sort of rosy colored beige, and then we mask again, and then we put on this yellow colored beige, and so then we remove it, and that's it. It sounds like a lot of steps to the process, but like, considering that you don't have to do highlighting after this, I think it's pretty good.
What was it? What was the end? Was it 500 and something skulls was in the Yellow Dark series?
Oh, I remember that on one single wall panel there was 27 skulls.
Yes. So, wow. For people who are listening, I got this update kind of daily of, hey, just to let you know, Warhammer Dad, we're up to like 300 skulls, 325 skulls, 400 skulls. I was like, I'm going to sense someone's getting a bit upset with me. Because the original thing was, we'll have this painted in, I think you said, like, was it like 2 months? We'll smash it, and then it blew out.
I think it was a month, because we had done the I've forgotten the name of it now, the Dungeons and Lasers terrain in a similar period. We'd done it over 3 months, but we were doing it for ourselves between professional projects and between doing the YouTube. And so we were doing YouTube, commission projects, and at that time Sonny was doing graphic design as well. So we managed all of that terrain in that 3-month period for ourselves. And we thought, oh, you know what? We're actually going to dedicate proper time to this. This will take no time. We were very wrong.
In your defense, the original pitch when I came to you was, just dip it in dirty down rust, like just get a massive vat of dirty down rust, just dip it. That's it. And you're like, oh, okay, that sounds easy. Then I went, hey, I Googled something. can we do this? And I remember you going, oh, that's a bit different to what you pitched at the start.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
But no. But anyway, yeah, I just saw that and I was like, oh man, I remember beige. Jeez, I'm surprised you used that color again.
No,
Thought you would have.
because I think it's come out really well. But we will throw to poor old Penguin, who has been polite and silent this whole time.
Well, coming back
To
to
James L. Jones.
to James, yes. The first movie I ever saw him, and this might be a movie that's not familiar to you, is Pride the Beloved Country. Was in 1995.
Gonna have to look that one up.
Oh, yeah, it's a movie that's based in South Africa during the apartheid times, and he played a Zulu reverend whose son was accused of armed robbery, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No.
Pride of a
Yeah.
Beloved.
And cry of the beloved country.
Sorry, did you say cry or pride?
Cry.
Ah, okay. Cry.
CRY. Yeah.
Yep, I got it now. I will see the image address and replace that one here. This one?
I'll see it. Where did you post it?
It should be on the actual stream right now.
On the stream, okay. Oh, okay. Yes, that's it, yeah. So that now this is how my childhood swing. I went from watching this movie to watching The Lion King a week later.
Oh my
God. And it's the same actor.
And
yeah, because they what's the English term for it? Man, I was trying to think of the English word for it now. It's basically cultural literacy, if I'm translating it correctly. So this is basically South African culture in movie, and so they felt this was appropriate to show to a bunch of 10-year-olds, and then have that discuss.
No, is this okay? So is this the one where a kid gets bullied and some people relieve themselves on him?
No, it's not.
Because there's another South African movie I know where that happens. I can't remember the name of it. But...
No. Yeah. So the synopsis of the story is that James L. Jones, he plays the Zulu reverend. His son is accused of murdering the other actor, Richard Harris, as the son, and killing him.
Yeah.
And them actually making peace. So sort of that in that spirit of reconciliation, because this movie came out post 1994 when South Africa was now going through that period of reconciliation between the various people who were affected during that time. But don't want to go too deep into the politics of that era, because it's not nice. But yeah, so I think that was a very good movie. And like I said, a week later, my mom took me to go watch Lion King, and I'm like, that's the same guy. Because I recognized the voice because he has such a distinctive voice. And then later as a teen, I got into Star Wars, and then I recognized him from there. And also Hunter of Red October, that was another movie that I enjoyed that he acted in. And I thought he just brought so much weight and authority to this character that he played.
He just had such a great voice. There's a couple of cartoons that he's been in which are like are vague memories which will come up now and then. And like something about destroying the world of men with magic or something, and I'm like, oh, I remember.
and
and
then
yeah, Co. Sorry,
yeah,
go.
Conan was also a
Oh
very good
yes,
movie. But that's I also saw as a teenager, and I'm like, wow, he was actually quite a handsome man back in the day. He's like, I can see why he was casted in so many roles because him and Arnold Schwarzenegger were sort of opposite ends of the spectrum. Arnold Schwarzenegger got cast because he's this big, muscular, barbarian-looking guy, and David Earl Jones, he's like this very well-spoken, charismatic, and character for this role. Then I thought, wow, this is such a good match
yeah,
because the snake dude who talked people into jumping off cliffs, he had to be well spoken and charismatic for the people to do that.
That's the one scene that always sticks out where he's like, the girls are all up on the cliffs and he's like, yeah, just like come to me, my child. And she's like,
Come
yeah,
to
okay,
me.
just
Come to me. Yeah.
pancaked. It's like, wow, that
Mm.
and just how he delivers those lines, or that particular line, that was fantastic.
yeah. Where he's playing, I do believe that character's Thulsa Doom. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the character's name. Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, it's
I just call him the snake dude because I can never remember the name.
yeah. Well, do you want to make a comment on the terrain and then we'll move on from our reminiscing of
Uh,
James L. Jones?
I like your terrain. Coming back to what Whammer Dad said, is this is good enough for the task and purpose.
Mm.
It reads well. That is a vent. That is a door. I like the color scheme that you go through. Is that Creme Vice
So,
that you use? That's like beige color that they use inside of German tanks. It
so yeah,
looks familiar to me.
it is actually called German beige. So the rose color is called US Desert, and the
Okay.
beige is German beige. But
Mm.
the reason why I chose this particular color scheme is because it reminds me of I'm not sure if either of you guys have been to. Do you know how in the 90s Singer and just everyone else was doing that particular type of like creamy beige as the neutral color to sort of be with everyone saying like, "Oh, this is a nice place to be." And of course, the factories would just spray it on again, and then as the paint peels off, it starts to look like this. So like Malaysian factories, unfortunately some
Mm.
Australian factories, the factories that are sort of not well taken care of will end up looking like this.
Mm.
So Iskander says, I remember JEG as Thulsa Doom. My favorite quote is, contemplate this on the tree of woe. Yes, but of course it would have to be said in that deep voice. Contemplate this, the tree of woe. Except I can't do a James L. Jones.
Mm.
But I think we'll just move on because there is a lot to do, and we have already been here for over an hour. So next up, this is Cassidy Rose. So alongside the Necromunda gangs, I've been assembling and painting. I've started a side project. It's still a work in progress, but here it is so far. And he sent this to me personally, and I was like, that's one hell of a side project. That is that's pretty intense there, buddy. I would call that more than a side project. What do you guys think?
That's all Battlefield there, right there and there.
Yeah.
Easily a small skirmish game. Yeah, some kill team or some Stargrave that would be ideal for that.
Yep. Screaming out for the beige and the US desert. Rust effects, maybe.
For sure. or what's it that there's this green gray color that the Soviets used to paint their buildings with. It's got this very sad look about it. You actually feel depro if you look at it too long.
It's like an off olive green or something, wasn't that? It was the same as their helmets, wasn't it?
No,
It's
Soviet buildings. I just was googling it now.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. Oh, it's got a special name. So who can say this word? I'm going to post it in the WAYPN server. All right. So there's a K and a H and an R. It's Kuvreshka.
Yeah. I think I just depleted my English bundle just by trying to pronounce that. So unfortunately for the rest of us, I'm forced to speak Afrikaans now. Just joking.
No idea.
See if it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
go. Sorry.
Google Translate. See if Google Translate can actually pick it.
Google Translate can't help us here.
No. It doesn't. It says, is this even a word?
But yeah, all right. We'll move right along. But I tell you what, it's looking pretty cool, and I think that that green gray, I think might be like a perfect sort of match to it. Do we know what the green gray is called? Because that's the buildings that they have the Yoshkakeb Kuku Kiki Kika.
I pronounce it as Krushkevkya.
Color. Someone's actually asked what this color is, and someone's actually gave a Vallejo code for that.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, if you'll be able to look that up while we're there. And so Larry also posted this up in memoriam of good old James. I don't know how he managed to do this. Put a light in that actual lightsaber. That thing's tiny. Where is the battery? How does one get electricity into this thing? Like that's astonishing. But yeah, it's a throwback piece, but yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. And I think we've had enough of talking about James, perhaps. But tell me if you've got that code at any point in time.
I do, and you will not believe it. I actually have this color.
Oh, you do?
It is Vallejo Model Air Cement Gray.
Cement gray? No, cement gray is like a sort of because we've got that in a craft paint, and it's closer to the beige. And you're saying it's a green color.
Yeah, it looks more towards it's a gray, but it sort of fluctuates towards the green spectrum.
Send it in the WAYPN Discord, and we'll take a look. But we will finish that up. Chaos Sorcerer Lord repainted. I know I should have taken the pictures before, but for some reason I dislike doing that. Fair. Tried my best to navigate through all the busy details and pretty much tried to keep all the color choices I made years ago, except the ornamental helmet and Tactical Rock. Everybody loves Tactical Rock. I didn't finish the Tyrannid's head and the big eyes as a memento of my previous work. I think my decision to change the colors of the Tactical Rock and the helmet helped boost the red, right? Well, let's take a look. I'll throw to you first, Warhammer Dad.
It is incredibly impressive. The big eye that's on the staff, the smaller eyes that are on both the helmet and the cauldron, fantastic. I love it. The helmets and the skull on the back, also, like, I understand it. I believe those were original, if I recall, so they weren't repainted. They're still pretty good. I would love to have seen what it looked originally, because even with just those pieces, it couldn't have been that bad. Like, what I'm seeing here, there's nothing I could really complain about or say, oh, this should be changed or this doesn't look right. I think he's really smacked it out of the park. Like, even down on the shin guards, where one's got the, I guess, call it the chaos points, and the other one's got the blue eyes and the skull on it.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. There's nothing I can really say, oh, maybe consider this, that, or the other. Maybe the cloak at the back, maybe the highlights could be neatened up, but we're talking such petty comments that it's more of an insult to bring it up, to be honest.
So
I'll
throw to Penguin then. What are your thoughts, Penguin?
I like it a lot. The gold pops so nicely against the red. And it actually, as soon as I thought I could that quote from Wakanda Betrayer, as I said, I will wear the red, the bronze, the brass, that popped in my head, and that like translates so well in this. I don't. Is this a corn character?
I do believe this is a Thousand Suns sorcerer.
Suns.
I believe.
Okay. Oh, this is This is probably pre-heresy after I take it in.
I'm
correct.
not sure,
they were,
or it's or it's just a general Chaos Lord. I'm not sure. Could be either way. But Nor Iskander is in the chat, so he can tell us if it's specifically dedicated to one god, but I don't believe it is.
But yeah, even the headdress, the helmet, that sort of reminds me of the helmet that the Khorne Berserkers have, but not quite, but similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. The blue on the helmet also pops nicely, complements the colors around it. The eyes, awesome. If that is freehand up, I'm clapping, because I could not paint that.
It is very impressive.
My freehand, my freehand is nothing to write home about.
So, I do believe that's everybody's comments. Tell me if you want to say something more, and then I'll say my piece, and we'll move on.
Oh, I've said everything.
Even the cloak.
Yep.
Yeah, even the cloak. I'll see the back of it. It's so well done. Blends so smooth. Yeah, no scanners. He's hit this one out of the park as far as I'm concerned. And this is from someone who's not even that big a 40k fan. I can just appreciate it for the art that it is.
All right. So the thing is, I think, like me and Sonny have said many times, when it comes to this sort of thing, I think that he's put in showcase level of detail. So I'm going to give him showcase level of feedback. So first off, I think that when it comes to the basing, so we see how he's added the green to the rock. I think with these big bold lines, you want to smooth that out, or you want to stipple something on to give it more of a, a textured feel or anything like that. Because with those big bold lines, the thing is that everything else looks extremely smooth. You've got these spot highlights right here, and they look very, very good, except for the fact that they're too bold. You want to smooth that out a little. And the other thing is, when it comes to this, I don't think this stylistic choice of the sort of choppy cloak fits the rest of it. So, what did you do well? Almost everything else. Literally almost everything else. So, I'd say that the big features is the white on that Dark Angel wing is absolutely beautifully done. And see, the reason why I think it's so beautifully done is because it didn't draw attention to itself, but it's also just so cleanly done. Of course, the eye here is definitely your best eye of all of them. I think that all of the eyes are excellent. Like the eye down here, that's fine. It's serviceable. You don't want to put more detail into that eye because that should not be where the focus is. You put so much detail into this eye, don't let people draw focus away from it, right? This eye over here, also very good, right? And when we draw our line, we see the head in between. Very, very good. But when we come to the back, not as intense, not as interesting. So when it comes to these tufts, I'd probably remove those tufts. Go for something smaller. Make people focus on the model more, right? I know it sounds very pedantic, but take a look at the model that you've got here, right? There's a reason why we're being pedantic here, because you put a tremendous level of effort into this model. If you can push it that much more by these small things, then you should do it, because I think that this is an extremely good piece. I'd say that it's showcase level. I'd say that it's very nice, but there are things that can be worked on here, and I hope that the feedback's been useful for you. All right. I've not seen anything from Iskander. Maybe he's had to go back to work. I know that he often will do a naughty and oh, I found the Russian green with the hex code.
What? The hex code. Okay.
So that's Russian green. Let's see. I don't know much about the lore. I bought the board game a long time ago. Fair enough. But yeah, I hope that feedback's useful for you, my dude. All right, next up we've got Larry Hassenflu. Prime this guy, the yellow... so I had primed this guy. The problem I had when I did the car came out okay, but the paint seemed to go over well enough. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'd say that the yellows come out okay. Not the greatest thing on earth, but it's like a nice mid-yellow. Do you guys have anything to say on it? Because, yeah.
I would say that yellow, it's, if I looked at the first image, maybe it's the lighting up, but that actually reminds me of that Dunkelgelb on the German vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
That's that automatic. I read it as that yellow. But yeah, but now if from the other angles, it actually looks definitely like a more saturated yellow, as standard yellow, if that's the correct way of saying it. But I do like it. But that first one is almost like it's got a bit more towards the ochre side of life.
Yep. Warhammer Dad?
Probably have to agree with both of you with what you've said. There's nothing really more I could add. I guess, yeah, it still appears to be work in progress.
Yep.
There's a few bits and pieces that, yeah, you can definitely highlight and whatever else. But no, it's a start. That's for damn sure.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move on. And I'll try and speed things up because we've got quite a bit more to go through. Well, not quite a bit more, but yeah, so this was my Throwback Thursday, and I'll just read it out quickly for you guys. It's Throwback Thursday, hashtag Throwback Thursday. That's how painful these were. I remember them in black and white. It's my brush with the beyond. I just have too much on my palette to deal with. What memories are you going to draw up? And with that terriblest nut done, let's go on to Brett Folksby. He's got okay. Rather proud of this. First picture, the concept. Second picture, the actual. So this is the concept he went for. And here it is. Your guys' thoughts?
All right, you can go first, Penguin.
I think it looks good. The green of the beige, or is that like off white? Okay, the second picture. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's the actual painting. Yeah, it's a nice green, almost like an orcish green, or a salamander green, and then the beige complements it nicely. That part around the neck areas, is that gold or is that brown? I'm not sure. I'm struggling to read that.
I do believe that that's more like here it looks like a gold on these, and here it looks like a gold, but here it looks like a sort of off-white.
Because if I look at that image of the neck area, then compare it to the eagle on the gun, that looks very similar. So that's why I assumed it was gold. But it looks good. It looks good. Yeah, the beige or the off-white color of the helmet that complements the green as well. So I like it. I'm a fan of green and gold. Nice color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not much further to say.
All right.
Definitely, the base could do some a bit more work, but I presume that's going to be after the fact. Yeah.
So I think it's a good base. I do think that these paints right here could be thinned a bit, but other than that, look, man, you're achieving your goals. That's the most important thing. Let us move on to the next, which I do believe is Larry continuing on this, trying to get this guy done up a bit more. So we'll just take a look along here. See how it's going. It looks like he... Oh, I tell you what, the speed paint for that... what do you call this thing? Tabard. Tabard's come up nicely. But yeah. I'd say that's about all I have to say. Do you guys have anything additional to say?
No,
I like the leather work on the back. I think that's turned out pretty damn well. That, I guess, scale metal that's covering the front, that's come up exceptionally well. I'm pretty impressed with how that's gone. I'm assuming the ropes that are coming off the pike will be painted a different color, and the bands around the ankles.
That's what I believe. I can't say for sure, but I believe this to be true.
No, definitely coming along.
All right. Well, let us move on. Looks like Larry's been putting in a lot of work in this week. Added highlights and shades to the parchment. We'll do lettering later. Added a lighter gold. All right. Sonny tired of reading it. Sonny's not even here. Tried using water-based acrylics on the oil paint. It was particularly pathetic, so airbrushed a clear matte primer. So it's probably a matte varnish. Sorry, don't know if the idea of it... Let's move on to the model. So yes, Sonny is tired of reading. But I tell you what, the laurels have come up really well. I really like how the laurels have come up. Gold, I think, is has come up nicely. I'm not sure if he did anything additionally that. I think he smoothed out the turquoise a bit, but I'm not certain on that one. So, who would like to go first? Alright, since there's silence, I'm choosing Warhammer Dad.
No, I guess, yeah, much like the previous image, happy with everything. Depending on what level of detail he's going for, maybe you can do something extra with the power sword, as it does look a little bit like there is a clear highlight in the center, but yeah, you could do something more, either put lightning strikes through it. It's up to you, personal preference. Other than that, it is looking fantastic. It's very, very impressive. But yeah, that would be my only comment is, yeah, maybe look at the blade, because the blade is quite prominent. That's something I looked at first and went, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't quite have something that I guess stands out or impressive. It's just a blue sword. But yeah, it depends on what detail you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, so Penguin, would you like to add anything to Warhammer Dad's analysis?
Yeah, I'm still a fan of the color scheme.
Yeah.
The sword is coming out very nice. Like it's seems to be a bit of lighter around the edges to give it a bit of contrast.
Mm-hmm.
The red, it looks good. Bit of shading at the back, which you would associate with shadow. And only thing I can say that if I'm not sure how much light a power sword would illuminate, but maybe a bit OSL on the gauntlet. I think that could be quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's me. But definitely a big fan of what Larry's doing. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
he's doing definitely a good job.
I think this is the most interesting project that he's got going of all of the ones that he's got going, and there's more than one of them from Larry at the moment. But next up, we've got more from Iskander, and Warren. If Warren's excited about one of your pieces, I think it's good. So a quick, fun exercise to pass the time. If only I was talented enough to pass the time like this. Tried taking into consideration the comments made about the Xenomorph Queen I painted a few weeks ago. Tried to keep the secondary light visible from all angles. No idea what to do with the base. For your information, this is one of the stuffed Fable antagonists, Skrilla? Not sure how to pronounce that. But yeah, as for the base, I think with that, I'd probably try to have the light on this side come that way. But other than that, I'll throw to the two of you and ask what you think.
I find it a bit hard to comment because I don't really have a point of reference. Do you? Is it a statue? Is it a person? Is it a ghost?
I
Because
do believe it's a
dress and
ghost
face.
thing. A ghost thing.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So for argument's sakes, on the right hand side there will be a purple light source that was shining on it and making it affecting the translucent ghost effect. I've said they pulled it off very well. And then also I think if I look at the left hand side, he is trying to have the leg show through. And I think that to actually have this night dress or gown or whatever he's wearing, to actually pull that off, I think that would like just add to that to show this is actually a translucent entity. yeah, that's my 5 cents.
Okay, and you, Warhammer Dad?
Probably the only real thing I guess I've picked up is there's like a texture to the paint. Like it looks, I don't know how to describe it. Like the model isn't
Looks a bit
painted
grainy.
smoothly. Yeah, that's the word. I was like, it looks furry. It's like, no, that's not the word I want to use. No, grainy. So I'm not sure if that's a style or like airbrushes are notorious. If he's used
Yeah,
an
yeah.
airbrush, I've well and truly had to redo models because of that. The graininess, but that would probably be my only real gripe with it. I think it's fine. Some of the highlights, especially with that image there where like it's almost a white streak. I think I don't know if you could dull it down or something. It's quite prominent, especially on the face. It kind of it's hard to read the face because you've got like these big white marks around like the eyes and mouth. But that once again, that could be the style he's going for, where purple light on one side, green light on the other.
Yep,
Don't
that
know.
is, I believe, the style he's going for. So, the only thing I'll say is I would agree with you that the streaks are a bit too strong. And right here, see that black mark there, which I'm almost certain was brought about by a wash. That unfortunately, it can't be unseen. It's just very big and there. And I think that you did go a bit too high on this side here. Not as much up on the face. I disagree with Warhammer Dad. I think like that looks very stylistic, but I think here it's just a bit much. Bit much. That's me
It's
though.
very prominent.
Yeah, a bit too prominent. Yes. So we will move on from that one. So see if there was anything in the comments. Nope. All right. Next up, we've got RJ Warren, who is happy to be painting again. After 2 weeks break from painting, these two are helping me knock the rust off. Still both rough whips. Okay, so I do believe this is Lady Sif, and I think there's another one as well. The red's coming up really nicely on that, but oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that one. I was expecting another one of the chibi ones, and it's like, oh, okay, all right. So, I'll throw to, I guess, Penguin. Penguin, you're first this time round.
Yeah, definitely a very intricate model. Wings are always notoriously difficult to paint.
Oh, yep,
From
sure. You wouldn't go to that one.
what people,
Yep. Here we are.
yeah. So what I've, yeah. So okay. So the first one, yeah, very cool looking little model. Very, I think he's going for sort of like the cartoon style,
Yep.
like the comic book style,
Yep.
with his color palette, and I think it's coming together very well. The second model with the character with the wings,
Mm-hmm.
that is also that looks a lot more intricate, a lot more detailed work compared to the one that's the comic book style. So he's tackling two projects on opposite ends of the spectrum, something that's
Yeah.
very simplistic versus something that's super complex.
Well, see, I almost wouldn't call the other one simplistic, but one's stylistic. And the other one is, complicated. Because as far as I understand it, the blue and the browns are going to be metals. So this is just the base, and this is going to be done in either steel or chrome style. Can't quite remember off the top of my head because that is in the WAYPN chat. Yeah, okay, so metal. Are you going for a chrome effect? Not chrome. I was going to do a mithril look. Yes, a mithril look. So very
so
high steel.
Yeah. So my next question would be: is it gonna go for true metallics or non-metallics? Non-metallic metal.
Non-metallic metal.
Yeah. Okay, that will explain the brown base then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's if he's going for non-metallic metal, my hats off to him. That's a skill that I've been practicing for so long, and I still can't master it.
I think I can
I
do
did it
gold,
once.
but not the steel. But Penguin, as soon as you're done, if you could throw to Warhammer Dad, because this character needs to take a short break, otherwise it's in an unsavory fashion.
No problem. Okay. And I do like it. It's the blue and the red complement each other quite nicely. Once some non-metallic metal comes into play, it's definitely going to take this piece to the next level. And definitely, it looks like a simple model, but even something that might not be incredibly detailed can be taken to an extraordinary level if you have the time and the patience and the skills to do so.
Exactly. And
Warhammer
like,
Dad, what is your
I
opinion?
I agree. Like, especially with the first model, you can tell straight away. If you don't know who the character is, you can tell what the genre is that it's come from. So you can go, yep, it's definitely either from Marvel or DC. You can tell like he's got that style down pat. So perfect. I think he's doing quite well. Yeah, the metallics, I've never done that. I've tried back ages ago and just failed miserably and just parked it. I was like, not even going to try it again. So kudos to anyone who can do non-metallics, true metallics. It's something I have always struggled with. With the second model, the armor, the green armor, fantastic. I love it. The red shoulder guard, very like it suits that model perfectly. The gold definitely brings everything together. It definitely draws your eye kind of to the head and to the I guess the face of the model. So that I quite like. The spear itself, probably there's still a bit more work on that, but that's fine. Same with the sword. The wings, of course, haven't been started, which, yes, I've struggled with that. Oh, back when I used to paint Lord of the Rings stuff, anything with wings was a pain in the butt. So
yes,
it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
All right. So I think pretty much everything that could be said about it has been said about it. So we will move on to the next piece. And I do believe that there's some sort of penguin-like creature that has done this one up, which is maybe on stream. Still have a lot of work to do. So the biggest question I had is on these knee pads, right? So we see these striations. Now, is that intentional?
That is intentional. Yes,
Okay.
that's supposed to be for what's those black and yellow stripes
hazard stripes
that you see on races.
Okay.
The hazard stripes, yes. That's they're supposed to be for hazard stripes, but they're so fine. I'll probably not be able to pull that off. But I do have hazard stripe decals that I might put over there. And then
that was the one thing that I was looking at when you put this one into the WAYPN Discord. I was taking a look at that, and I was just like right here looking at that, and I'm like, I hope that that's intentional. Otherwise, that's real dodgy what they've done there. Because I was just that was the biggest feature. I think that your greens come out really well, and I like the sort of glowy blue. I think the red's nice, but I think the sort of green sheen. But I'm not sure that the white or steelish is coming out as well. I'll throw to Warhammer Dad now.
No, well, the cockpit, the green and the white, I actually do quite like. The blue of the, I guess, call it the muzzle for the guns. I think that's turned out quite well. I think it's done quite well. So is it white in the center for the cockpit and then like an off gray or a darker gray on the sides, or is that just how the photo's been taken?
No, so this whole piece with the gray, it's actually gray, and then the squad leader will have this white line over the top of his cockpit to designate him as the squad leader.
Yep.
And so when I mentioned by him, and so to get that bright.
I'll get you to re-say that if you could, Penguin, because you sort of cut out a bit.
Okay. So how far do I need to go back?
Not long.
So we got to the white of the center was for the squad leader, and then after that we didn't quite get the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the when I mentioned that I got an idea from Larry Space Marine, the bright blue inside the guns, the PPC and the lasers. So that I got that idea for that bright blue from him to complement the red of the rest of the mech. And then the gray and the red is the colors of the Sword of Light division of the Draconis Combine, which is the primary user of this mech, because they be a big fan of the PPCs and not the missile launchers like the other people who employ the catapult, because they make great strategic choices, such as putting planets literally to the sword, because it's dishonorable to nuke them from space.
As you do, why not?
Well, that's my Sunday.
Yeah. But it's the basic colors are down. I'm actually gonna just do a wipe on that just to bring out some of the detail. I'm in 2 minds still if I'm gonna do the hazard stripes on the knees, or I'm just gonna put decals down to do that. And also I found some decals that it's the shark mouth that's on some of the World War II planes.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
It took me a moment to figure that one out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of putting that right there, but at the bottom where the canopy connects to the rest of the body, and then I've got the 2 eyes that I'm gonna just put maybe a bit further back. Well, not too far back, but so maybe right behind the green of the canopy or the glass is, and that's my plan, and maybe some other random decals just to add some interesting details to it. And then obviously it needs the chipping and the dust and all the things I'm famous for. Yeah. But I haven't really decided yet on the base what I'm gonna do at the base. Maybe have a desert or like a margin surface to complement to the red, or maybe something drastic different. But that's my speech about my piece. You guys, any questions or comments?
No. I think that the reds come up good. It's very sort of candy colored at the moment, or high gloss, I should say. I think once again, I will repeat exactly what I said. I think the cockpits look good. I think that the blue looks quite good. And I'm a bit off on the white. I think it could use some highlighting, and that's about it. So shall we move on to the next one? Right, and I'll just check comments here. Other than Iskander saying that he was driving during the podcast, so he couldn't really respond. All right. So John Gass says, started on the Astrolith Bear, looking mostly at the skin and scales thus far. Thinking of adding some thin down / warm flesh tone red/warm flesh tone to glaze over the skin. Bring some life into it, but I'm not sure. All right, let's take a look. So, I think Penguin's up first now. Yes, I do believe so. So, Penguin, your thoughts?
I like the gold. The gold work is amazing. That's very bright, very polished, and I think it adds to the Aztec vibe which this model has. The Aztecs being known for their gold work and the cities of gold, which the Spanish were looking for. But even like the scales are so nicely done. I think did he do a contrast paint and then just do a dry brush of white over it? Or sorry, it's a white base with a contrast paint over it. But that looks
I'm
very
not
good.
sure how he did that, but yeah.
But I like it a lot. I've always been a fan of the Lizardman aesthetic, but back in the day when I was still playing Warhammer Fantasy, I looked at the models and I looked at the Wood Elves, and the Wood Elves just spoke more to me, if that makes sense. So I just went full on that.
What?
And Warhammer Dad.
Yeah.
I was about to say I'm kind of in the same boat. If I didn't get into Lord of the Rings first, I would have gone Lizardmen for fantasy, but I had already gone pretty hard into Lord of the Rings. But Lizardmen I've always had a soft spot for them. For me, the scales, the blue on the scales, that's fantastic. I'd love to know how he's done that. It looks like at first you think, contrast, like he's used really thin down contrast paint, but then that wouldn't get that kind of effect with some of these scales. So
yeah, I agree.
maybe he's then dry brushed over top. It's kind of
so
I don't know. He
white
must have
prime,
used multiple.
no contrast paint. Gas says.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
Okay, well,
I'm intrigued now. I want to know how he's done it because I haven't done scales that way. The only time I've had something similar to that was when I have used heavily watered down, almost just like tinted water contrast paint. And it didn't turn out anything remotely as good as that. So I need to know your secrets.
Yeah, even me, I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. We'll see if there's anything that John has to add, but I think that's about it on that one. So I think that the gold's coming up really well. I'll repeat what everyone else has been saying. The scales have come up fantastically because he said he was having trouble replicating that recipe, but I think now, just spot on. Looks absolutely fantastic. But yeah, we'll move on to the next piece, shall we? All right, and we've got even more by Larry Hasselflu. So this was from Universal Monsters, but I thought, is that like a sort of thinner Churchill? Because
I also thought it was Churchill.
Yeah, because
the first time I'd looked at it.
Like, am I the only one who's seeing that with this? Sorry, drive. Apparently, everybody listens to this while driving. Posted last week, just laid it up. So yeah, sorry, I'm just blown away that people are watching this while driving. That's amazing. Because I would think
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that I support that. Sorry, you know what? I'll throw to Warhammer Dad because I've become flustered.
I actually thought it was Edison at first. I was like, oh yeah, Edison. That's an interesting thing. I don't know why we would have a model of him, and then read the post. Oh, Well, that probably explains why I did so bad at school.
Oh,
But
the bald head and the bow tie, that sort of hinted Churchill to me. But
yeah,
Yep.
boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Like I look at that and I thought Churchill 100%. But let us move on to our final piece, which is Larry getting pretty close to finishing this one up. Alright. So you see the script work done here. I think we've gotten some of the final buttons done. Just a tiny bit of chipping, not much. And I think if I was in Larry's boots, I'd probably call it. In fact, I'd probably be calling it. Maybe some work on the sword, but yeah, I'll throw it to Warhammer Dad.
pretty much, yeah, what you said. Maybe a little bit more work on the sword. Doesn't have to. But yeah, I reckon you're pretty much ready to go for base. That's it. Like even the scuffing on the pistol pouch on the side, that's a great touch. I reckon you have to be pretty damn close to calling it done.
Yes.
Just base and yeah, maybe have a look at the sword. But once again, the sword thing I wouldn't be too concerned about. It's damn good the way it is. I guess yeah, I've spent many hours painting, repainting, painting again, having a cry, repainting swords over and over again to get it looking still horrible, but then giving up. And I go, yeah, make the sword perfect. Everything else is perfect.
Well, it's okay to cry, Warhammer Dad. We won't think less of you. Larry,
Look, man.
note it down. Penguin, you're keeping minutes of the notes, right? So yes,
Yeah.
just note that Warhammer Dad cried. And I believe it's your turn now.
It's excellent. The edit of this purity seals, the scribing did on it, that is very delicate work. And I usually probably use like a 4-0 brush for that because I don't.
Or maybe one of
My
those
penguin
pens. What are they called?
those AK pencils.
No, the ultra fine pens. What are they called?
Well, the art liners.
Art liners. Maybe that's the one. Maybe you use that.
That or I've only ever heard of the brand the Gundam pens, which yeah, that's just the brand, but they were like fine, like 0.01 nib or something of a pen.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I've only ever seen them in
Yeah.
Japan, and that was used for Gundam.
I think
Or
they're called
Gunpla, I think it is.
Nikon pens or something. So yes, apparently John Gass wants to note that more listening than watching. If I'm honest, typing at red lights. Okay. I'm just. All right.
But
just don't
yeah,
die.
coming
Please
back
don't
to
die. That would be bad.
that would be very bad. Be very bad.
I have heard it's permanent.
And GW don't deliver there either.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But coming back to the scribing, regardless how he did it, it's like my penguin brain is just like fried. I tried to figure out like how it's so fine, it's so good, it's not even smudged, and I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then also that glow effect that he got on the chest and on the sword, it's I would say it's better than what I was able to pull off on my lasers. But yeah, Larry's work is always awesome. But what boggles my mind is how is he able to juggle so many projects at the same time?
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about, because like I'm not that good at that either, because like if we have too many videos going, I have to slow down on my paint projects, because I'm like, I don't want to be thinking about this while we're doing this and doing that, and like we've got a million video ideas that we're sort of cycling through at the same time. So yes, and
And
apparently there's a whole crew of people who are watching in cars. Um, Black could use a little highlighting, in my opinion. Warren says, "Yeah, yes, okay, yes, I will agree. I will agree with that." Um, but yeah, so that will be the last one of this week, and yeah, so. I thought, because I've been talking with Warhammer Dad, and he has been continually bringing up a singular Kickstarter. So
Oh, come on! Don't dox me like this.
I
Come on.
was thinking that, if you have a particular thing that you would like to talk about, Penguin, a particular product which you're excited about. Would you like to do that, and then you can do the same, Warhammer Dad?
products that I'm excited about.
Yeah, Kickstarter or anything, something that's,
Right.
rustling your
Well,
jimmies.
well, something that I was not aware was a Kickstarter and I missed out on was the new release for BattleTech. Hence, I put the meme down that this is where I would keep my BattleTech miniatures if I had any. And Larry's like putting it down. Look what I got. I'm like, my dude, I didn't even know this existed, because like on the shelves at the local shop, they've only got the Alpha Strike starter box, and I thought, well, this is the full range. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, they're releasing all these very cool resculpts, and yeah, I was flabbergasted with how much stuff he got. I've even like, Sonny, look at what Larry's got. Why don't I have this? And yeah, because like I mentioned it before, I just got sucked into the BattleTech lore, because mostly because of there's a channel called the Black Pants Legion.
Black
Tex
Pants
talks
Legion.
BattleTech.
Is it,
Yes,
okay. All right. Sorry.
that's the
Please continue
that's what
that.
the channel's called.
All right. Fair enough. I'll. Yes. Sorry, I was thrown a bit. You continue.
Yeah, okay. So then that one there's a playlist of videos called Tex Talks BattleTech. And this guy has such a unique take on it. He doesn't talk about it from a gaming perspective. He speaks like he is a in-world character experiencing these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so entertaining the way the things he goes on about on a tangent. And he's even like this little factitious world where he lives, where he's a teacher and he's teaching you, the audience, about the history of how things went from the pinnacle of mankind with the Star League to the shadow of its former self, of what the succession wars caused. Because like he says that during succession wars, they had a graph there where each little human figure was equivalent to 1,000,000 casualties, and it ran over 2 pages
I
of all
see.
the amount of the death and destruction that the secession wars have. And that's one of the things that I find a itch that Battletech scratches, which 40K has never done for me. And I love the horror series. I've read the first 4 books, as well as Thousand Suns, No Fear, and Prospero Burns. But they also, we are here, we are fighting. but they never touch on the logistics and the consequence of action and the actual cost of
the war. Yeah.
Problem action solution. Oh, this is our problem. Our solution is we're just gonna nuke this place, and then people realized, guys, we're running out of planets here. We're running out of population and resources. You can't nuke should not be your first choice of weapon, and it is. If you ever feel bored or curious about that universe, I can recommend his channel. You will have a good laugh.
All right.
Of the way he presents it.
So, Warhammer Dad, it's your time to become Cyberpunk Dad, because it seems that that's what you have become since we have been talking with you last.
So, hang on. We'll back up a few seconds. So, the reason why I'm finding the Kickstarter thing is I've never followed Kickstarter before or any of the crowdfunding stuff.
Yep.
I've paid no attention to it whatsoever. Someone had mentioned, because I'm a huge fan of Blackstone Fortress, this game is similar in style. So I was like, okay, cool, have a look. And I've been more interested in just seeing how Kickstarter works and how the community's been getting on. It's funny, like there's a character from the video game, I think it's called Thomas, and there was like this big riot for a day where everyone's like, why haven't you brought Thomas in? Why is there no model Thomas? There's no Thomas here. Is Thomas coming? Is he behind a stretch gold? What's happening with Thomas? Will Thomas be announced soon? And I'm sitting in the chat going, I'm not sure what's happened here, but I feel like I must request a Thomas to fit in, or else I will be exiled from the Cyberpunk chat. So I was like, any comment, question mark? And then, yeah, people like, yeah, where's Thomas? When will Thomas be? Will he be announced in this pledge? I was like, yes, that's right, I fit in. So that's been the main thing, is just seeing how Kickstarter works, because I've never had anything to do with it.
So
the game itself, yes, it looks very cool. It scratches that Blackstone itch that I have. I will hopefully be getting it. I don't know.
So what I heard is that Thomas is the most important character in this.
I didn't think it was the main character. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not this V person. It's definitely Thomas. Whoever Thomas is. I don't know who Thomas is. I literally don't know.
I played the video game and I'm like 3/4 of the way through and I'm like, was I Thomas? No, wasn't I like a stupid letter? It's like, yeah, V, that's right, that's my name. I was that V person. So who the hell was Thomas? Because I thought, oh, maybe it was the guy who dies early on, and it's like, no, that was that other fella. No, he wasn't called Thomas. So I don't know. Yeah, Jackie, that's it. I was like, oh, maybe he was called Thomas, but no, I don't know.
Well,
so yeah, this game's. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, the only Thomas I know is Thomas the Tank Engine, but
yeah,
that's neither here or there.
Well, see, I've played the game and I don't know who Thomas is, so you know, like it feels a lot like trolling to me. So
well, that's what I had to kind of assume, but yeah, a lot of people seem to be on this Thomas wagon of we must acquire the great Thomas.
What is this health counter thing? Look at this nonsense. Look at this.
I actually like the health counter. I thought that was a pretty cool thing that you can roll it with your thumb.
Oh, okay. See, I was just like, I thought it was like something you plugged into the wall and this thing would just spin. And I'm just like,
no. Yeah, so you can move it with your thumb. But yeah, so this has been, I guess, one of the interests. The other one that I'm into, because with 40K, I wanted to get into Battlefleet Gothic, but it was discontinued probably about 2 years before I got into Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. So there's another company, I believe it's called, is it Double T, like TT Combat or something?
Yep, I know that one.
And they're called Dropfleet Commander. And if anyone is interested in Battlefleet Gothic, hasn't come out. Yes, I do know there's rumors that GW will announce Battlefleet Gothic for Christmas. Definitely check out Drop Fleet Commander. First off, the price is a heck of a lot cheaper than what GW will no doubt bring out. The models are fantastic. I like the scale of it. So you can go, one version of the game is with fleets. So you've got spaceships, you're in high orbit, low orbit, and in atmosphere. Then you can do drop zone. I think it's called Drop Zone Commander. So then you can grab another scale of models and then you play as the tanks and the stuff that's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a third scale where you can play as individual units. So that would be more like your kill team. So you can play kind of 3 different scales in one big conflict.
Well,
and I've seen videos on YouTube of people mixing it. So that's probably more.
I'm going to end it off with this one right here because this is the one. It's Australian for starters. Like, it's made by an Australian, and it's the Space Australians. Now, take a look at that mug over there. If you have never loved a Kickstarter in your life, look at that mug right there. Like, this is what the Catachans truly should be. I mean, look at that knife. And this is one of the things that I'm excited about. There's also an Anvil Industries one that's coming out at the same time, which is the Space British. So, you know, I'm just like, ooh, Space British, Space Australians. All we need is just one more, and we're ready to go. But I'm gonna call that for this one, and I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining us, Warhammer Dad, Penguin. I hope that you have enjoyed your time here, and if you haven't, well, I'm sorry, I've stolen it from you. You can't get it back. All right, everybody, goodbye.
Wow. Missing work now.
All right, guys, you have a good one, and of course, keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.